Hello and welcome to The Hill is Always Filled with Knuckles, a show where four friends have chill discussions about Knuckles to distract themselves from just how anything can have spiked knuckles that big. Anyway, I'm Rock the Jake.
Oh no, I'm Cyberlink.
I get it on by myself. All you others get shoved. It's Game Buddy.
I'm Falera and I'm going knuckle deep.
You know me. I'm the fucking freak, Mika.
There we go.
And we at the Greener Hill. You ready?
I ain't gonna let it get to me. I'm just gonna flip.
See, now we got, I just got a bleep right there, so it's perfect. I love it. Cut this whole thing out.
And done.
All right, everybody watching the show, please leave in the comments how many times Mika swears, just because.
Yeah, somebody keep track. If you count them all, you win a prize.
The prize is nothing. Anyway.
Secret.
So yeah, why are we all here today? Oh yeah, I'm hosting the show. It's because we want to talk about Knuckles in our series of, so who is that guy or that girl? We're going to be talking about the Knuckles, the echidna, the guardian of the Master Emerald.
So naturally, we had to bring Prismaeya back for this one.
Yeah.
We only just got rid of him. We're like, no, wait, we've got to talk about Knuckles soon.
If you know, you know.
If you listen to the podcast, you know. If you know Prismaeya,
Exactly.
you know.
I honestly figured I'd sealed my fate that time I told you that when I was 12 and I made Baby's first, Sonic self-insert OC, I was like, well, I wanted to be a fox like Tails, right? But then I wanted Knuckles to want me. So then I also made a version that was an echidna, and I don't think I ever decided between the two. And so, I've looked through my childhood drawings and been like, did I ever commit? I was committed to one thing. It was Knuckles.
There was definitely a time period on the internet where if you got a Sonic OC, you've got to be an echidna. Just ask Dave Ballmer and what he had to do with his OCs back in the day. You've got to be an echidna. They're everywhere.
I can't imagine who's responsible for that.
You could just be part of Knuckles' family.
I feel like at some point I invented some sort of really stupid, she's both, I don't know. She transforms or something. Why? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, why not?
It's like a Liger, but echidna fox.
Or so it's like lumber.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Tygon.
A woman
Being a
completely
fox
transforming
by
herself.
daylight.
Yeah, because completely transforming your species in order to appeal to the object of your affection is something everyone should aim for, right? It's totally normal and healthy.
If there is one thing I've learned from Archie Sonic is that he has no problem marrying his cousin, so his standards are low enough for you.
I was gonna say I wasn't going to say it until later, but was gonna say but I didn't make myself related to him somehow.
That wouldn't have been an issue.
No. In fact, that's a bonus to Archie Knuckles. He's all about that shit.
Gotta keep the bloodline strong.
Knuckles is from West Virginia. That's our first fact.
Oh God. Yeah, I was gonna say this shouldn't be the first note of Knuckles that we're starting out on. I don't like this.
Before we begin, I think what we need to do to establish a baseline and make sure that Mika can open up completely honestly and genuinely. Everyone here, including everyone in the listening audience, I want you to participate too. All of you, join us in saying Mika is normal. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Mika
is a fox echidna.
I feel like I'm at Alcoholics Anonymous right now.
Welcome to Knuckleholics Anonymous.
Yeah, Knuckle.
Except I stood up and said, hi, I'm Mika, and I have a Knuckles problem, and everyone said, Mika is normal.
Let he who doesn't have a Knuckles problem throw the first stone, as they say. As they said in the Bible.
This is the Bible.
You're so good at that voice. You can say it every time.
And this episode is already off the rails.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't remember the last time I was legitimately blushing, but I look like someone just threw me in the oven.
You're all red, just like Knuckles the Echidna.
On the same page, same
On
page.
theme, let's go.
Kind of like how Locke threw his baby boy into the microwave.
No, Jake, that is not fair. He put the egg in the microwave. It's fine. There was a degree of protection there when he nuked his child.
I disagree with that personally. The microwave is a terrible way to cook eggs.
I know, he might explode.
It might turn green.
Oh, if your egg's green, you're only good in a Dr. Seuss book. Otherwise, no, thank you.
So I guess we, with all that taken care of, we should probably just talk about Knuckles and who this dude is.
Talk about Knuckles.
Let's talk about Knuckles. Welcome to Knuckles Anonymous. Let's talk about Knuckles.
We need to talk about Knuckles.
We really do need to talk about
We don't talk about Knuckles.
No, we do. That's the podcast today.
It is.
Look, the thing about Knuckles is that I feel like, we were talking about this a little bit before the show started. There is a remarkable consistency to his character that a lot of others cannot boast.
Yeah.
And, sometimes certain elements are, maybe pushed a little bit more than others, but by and large, he's pretty much the same guy across all media, even underground, which is saying something.
Kind of. It's just a short king in Underground, that's all.
Yeah, Short King Knuckles.
I was complaining as the Amy fan that I was like, Knuckles is far more consistent than Amy is. And I came to realize that and was like, boy, I'm angry about that now too.
Well, we've already done that episode, but maybe sometime we're going to have to do it again at this rate.
No Amy tangent today, but as a side note, I was like, damn, Amy has it far worse. Knuckles is fairly consistent. For the Amy episode, I did not even have notes. For the Knuckles episode, I have notes. I have a little notebook right here. Taking notes.
Normal thing to do.
I was kind of ready to have a knee-jerk reaction and push back, but I mean, now that we kind of see it all laid out, Knuckles, mostly, like y'all already said, he gets a little dumbed down, but then a lot of the other characters also got flattened in the early 2000s.
Oh yeah,
we're talking about it. The Sonic X and that era, and then kind of got when all of the characters kind of went away in the early 2010s. But then and Boom is its own thing, but then now I would say, yeah, Knuckles is fairly back to being consistent. Not that he's totally flattened out. It's almost more back to we've gotten a chance to see every aspect of Knuckles' personality again. And
it's funny you bring up X, because I feel like X is closer to the romanticized version of Knuckles as a character than even the games were at that point when the show was airing. Because it's think about Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06. We were already starting to diverge wildly from what I think a lot of people think of as Knuckles, whereas X is still pretty consistent in that, he's the stoic, he's, largely on his own. He's more or less, everything he does is focused on his duty to the Master Emerald, all that stuff. I feel like that is more consistent in X than it was during that era of the video games.
Yeah.
As someone who's rewatching Sonic X, Knuckles is very consistent, a little too consistent, to the point that, every time Eggman does something, he's like, well, I guess I can believe you this time.
A little too Knuckles.
Well, I was going to say, I can divulge the very top of my notes. I made a list of things that I'm before I had redigested anything, before I went to go rewatch, the adventure cutscenes, before I went to do any of that stuff, I was I'm going to make a list of what I understand about Knuckles' character. It's just based on my own memory and what I remember. And the list goes like this. My first bullet literally says gullible. So there you go. Second says temper. The third one says serious, and then a dash dedicated, because he's very sincere about his values. And then the fourth one says loner, and then another dash says underdog, because he's, I don't know if underdog's really the word, but yeah, he's always doing his own thing that usually has something again to do with his values.
No, not underdog. That's Damon Dog.
Damon Dog roll toy.
The next bullet says tough and strong, obviously. And then there's a dash that says meathead, which kind of goes back into being stupid occasionally or just gullible. So meathead. And then the second to last one says loner, which, you know, via what is his how do I put this? Like his situation that he's in, or just his own choice. He's typically a loner. And the last one just says grapes.
Nothing wrong with that.
And there's a couple of notes underneath there, like at the bottom of the page, where I wrote, like, he tends to have a very high opinion of himself. Again, kind of goes back into being very strong in his values. Usually is depicted as Sonic's rival or something along those lines.
His friendly nemesis.
Yeah, friendly nemesis. You know, it's not like the Sonic Shadow thing. It's distinctly different.
Friendly nemesis is such a weird turn of phrase, though. Oh, you know, my best buddy who I hate to the guts of.
Was that an Archie invention?
That is an
Yes,
Archie
it
thing.
is.
Okay. It's just always stuck to me. I've just kind of liked it. That, like, friendly nemesis meaning like, and I mean, especially we'll get to Archie, especially the very early Archies before it became a echidna soap opera. Sonic and Knuckles are literally trying to kill each other in that hyper Knuckles supersonic special.
Yeah.
But they do get to a point, again, speaking Archie comics, where it is, I mean, I don't know, I just like the oxymoronic nature of friendly nemesis, but that describes them. They're like, oh, they're on good terms. You know, especially they have a mutual friend, quote unquote, through Sally Acorn that keeps them from killing each other. But I mean, they were always trash talking. And
I thought you were saying it's mutually beneficial. I was like, wait, what are we implying?
I think you know.
Knuckles the Echidna, the cuddly mortal enemy of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Well, you know, again, I made a note. He's competitive, and that's like a thing about him. He's so strict on his values and his, you know, his wants and his beliefs that, like, when that gets contested against, he doesn't bow his head, like, ever. It's always, he becomes competitive, he becomes stubborn. I was gonna say,
he's very self-confident.
speaking of Archie comics and stuff, I was like, my final note on this page literally just says, like, last of his race, minority, Christ-like?
If you read one of those Archie comics we brought up, then yes.
Yes, I was just like, but this is even before, it's funny because that's before I reread any of the comics, and then I was like, oh yeah.
Oh boy.
That wasn't just some vague notion I had.
Our echidna and savior, Interjack.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I do like that we brought up the whole rival thing and mentioned Shadow by name, because one of the things that I was thinking of in preparation of this episode was, like, you know, Knuckles is the original rival, and he really, as far as like the games, he really only got to be a straight up rival to Sonic in like 3 and then in Sonic Adventure 1. And then Shadow comes in, and I feel like he's the more prominent rival. And I would, like, let me be clear, I would never get rid of Shadow from the Sonic, you know, series in any way. I love Shadow, but like,
Same.
I kind of feel like Shadow really took over as the rival, and like Knuckles is, especially like in the thousands and the 2010s, like he did kind of become just the meathead sidekick. And
Yeah.
in a way, I feel like he kind of got cheated on that, and it'd be neat to see, like, I don't know how they'd make it work these days with just all the history and baggage that Sonic has now, but like, it would be neat to see some more rivalry outside of like racing games between Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah, perhaps if he was in some sort of game about Sonic's various rivals, then he could have a major role.
Yeah, the thing, you're absolutely right about, though, because I've been saying that for years. I like Shadow, but for me, when Knuckles came in, he was the guy. He was the guy who was opposite Sonic. Sonic's blue, he's red. The red only, blue only, you know. I was like, yeah,
Right.
he's the guy who should always be at Sonic's throat. They're the guys who should always be competing. Who's this black guy? Oh, wait, hang on. What did you rephrase that?
Black and red
That man
hedgehog.
is
Black and red hedgehog.
Well, if I could give a half serious answer, I think, I mean, it does become one of those, like, oh, Sonic, either defeats his bad guys or becomes friends with them. And I think Knuckles is the, like, oh, yeah, you know, we're buddies, but we'll occasionally, you know, bust each other's chops. And I think the forever rivalry with Shadow works much more because of the contrasting personalities. Like, Sonic and Knuckles also contrast, but not in a way that's like polar opposite. And I think especially nowadays, Shadow and Sonic drive each other crazy on purpose. And I mean, I just don't think Sonic and Knuckles have as much sexual tension as Sonic and Shadow do, and is why that rivalry has continued on into the modern age.
Knuckles is already committed to the Master Emerald.
Exactly.
True. I was going to say the thing with Sonic and Shadow is they have like the animosity aspect, whereas Sonic and Knuckles, it's not so much animosity. It's just like something happens and they disagree and they fight like an old married couple or something. And coming from the period in which I was introduced to Sonic, which is more like adventure, advance era, my understanding from childhood onward is like, oh yeah, so Sonic, Tails, Knuckles is the trio and they're like three best friends, and the dynamic between Sonic and Tails is like, you know, they're best buddies, and then between Sonic and Knuckles it's like they're friends but they fight and they competitive with each other. They have a more, you know, bro-like relationship with each other, whereas Sonic and Tails are more like two brothers, you know.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's just because of me growing up in the 90s, where they kept making Sonic and Knuckles fight a whole bunch in the games and everything, and in STC where it was like, well, Sonic's just an asshole all the time and Knuckles is up on his island, and you know.
Why is Sonic so mean?
It's funny because I think it's like, oh, it almost like played out naturally to me working backwards as a kid, because it's like, oh, when I see Knuckles from the past, it's like, oh yeah, him and Sonic used to fight a lot more, but now they just get along. You know, now they're buddies.
Yeah, they're two old friends and they meet up at like a function and they're like, hey, what's up, you bastard?
Yeah, they meet up at the Chili's. Have a couple of Dollaritas. Wait, Dollaritas, is Dollaritas Chili's? I don't remember what Dollaritas. I think that might be like Ruby Tuesdays or something. It doesn't matter.
But I like what you're going for, because they meet up for like lunch or dinner, they get drunk, and then they fight in the parking lot of the show.
they get kicked out of the Olive Garden.
Tails just stands there looking at his watch and he's like, are you done yet?
Tails is like, you gonna fight or you gonna kiss? What's up?
Yeah, even Tails doesn't know what the mood of the evening is. He just wants to go home. It's just like, get it over with so we can leave.
Like, I would still argue that, you know, that kind of relationship is kind of brotherly in its own way, just, you know, different, you know, family dynamics and everything.
Yeah, like Raphael,
you know,
with
the
his brothers, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Sonic middle child, Knuckles older brother, Tails little brother. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's honestly the kind of dynamic they have in the movies as well.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Yeah, obviously, because they really drive home like, yeah, they're a bunch of adopted kids, so, you know.
Yeah, but like, even, you know, I think back to that scene in Sonic 3 where Sonic is ready to, you know, go after Shadow for what he did to Tom, and, you know, Knuckles is the one who both tries to stop him and eventually has to calm himself down despite his normal hotheadness, and, you know, it's really interesting growth given his own personal journey, but it's also does drive the idea that he is a little bit more mature, a little bit more, he can be more level-headed when he needs to.
Subdued, just a little.
Yeah.
It's why, you know, we joke about, especially in those movies, like Knuckles is like Worf from Star Trek Next Generation, but in a lot of complex ways as well. Like you said, that scene stands out with, like, yes, Knuckles is, you know, Mr. Fighting with the honor, but that also means he's like still a tactician. And has more experience with that, as opposed to like Sonic and Tails, who are little babies.
Knuckles has always been hasty, but he's gotten to a point where he's like, I have to think about what I'm doing sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that with something that is really present in all versions of Knuckles for the most part, other than the obvious, you know, is that it is kind of him, like from start to finish, it is kind of him starting off as this loner, kind of single-minded in his approach to things, and having to gradually learn that, like, to open up to other people. And I think that that's an interesting dynamic to have for a character. Like, I immediately think of, you know, well, it's funny enough, I also think of Blaze when I think of that, because it's something that she, you know, was in a very similar position of being the guardian, only really being able to trust herself, and then having to open up to other people. It's just that they kind of got to the same place differently. You know, Blaze got there because of, you know, all the different people talking to her and trying to, you know, bring her over to their side. Whereas Knuckles basically had he's too trusting because he lives isolated. He doesn't know, like, he's not street smart. So he had his trust taken advantage of and then broken by Eggman. And it was only through, going through that and then, meeting Sonic and seeing like, oh, wait, actually, there's something to this. There's maybe I don't need to, stand on my own so much. That's, he gets to that same point, but through very different circumstances. And, I think that's cool of him having to learn that.
Sorry, when you said all of that, you could have been describing so many different versions of Knuckles. Isn't that interesting that's actually consistent with so many versions?
I was literally just going to say, I was thinking too, in observing his characters, like there's a bit of a sliding scale of Knuckles when sometimes he's gullible versus naive, which is like, there's gullibility where like he just has something put on his lap and he just believes it right away. And then there's naivety where it's like, or naivete, I'm sorry, I can't speak English. Naivete where like he believes in something because of, again, his background being a loner, being alone, not being around other people. That's like, well, of course he would believe something like that. And then his headstrongness, his, very fierce self-confidence and belief in himself means that when he's made up his mind about something, he just believes it. So, those two traits work in tandem with each other.
I actually think a great example of that is, episode 5 of Sonic X versus episodes 25 and 26, where episode 5 kind of is like it's almost like a redo of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where Eggman does show up and he's like, oh, we're trapped in this place and it's all Sonic's fault. All I was trying to do was, research on the Chaos Emeralds. And he's like, oh, I knew it. I knew it was Sonic's fault. You have confirmed my biases, Eggman. Exactly. I'm going to fight him.
Yeah.
Whereas later in episodes 25 and 25 and 26, when Eggman is, lying again, but he does lay out like a believable scenario if Eggman wasn't Eggman, where he's like, look, we're trapped in here. I'm the one that made the original machine. I can get us back, to our dimension or whatever, our world, the Master Emerald. That's all I care about now as Eggman. Isn't that what you care about too, Knuckles? And he's like, yes, it is. Okay, let's call a truce. Sonic would never do this because, he just can't see past it. And I think that is, yes, naivete versus gullibility, to where Knuckles is headstrong and getting back to the Master Emerald. And yeah, what Eggman is saying makes sense, but I wouldn't say, oh, Knuckles, you idiot. It's like, no, I could see where you would get there.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I was going to say there's a lot of scenarios set up for Knuckles where I end up questioning myself like, okay, would I fall for this? So is that just naive? Or is he truly being gullible where it's like, why did you fall for that?
They did push it a little bit, like in the Meta-X saga, where Eggman basically redoes what he did in episode 5. He's like, oh no, this is all Sonic's fault. I'm just lost and alone. And the thing is, it's just because what he does is he plays on Knuckles' empathy, I think. Because Knuckles feels real bad 100%. For this silly old man. He's just like, oh, well, fine, all right. And I do think it is just like, people know how to play Knuckles in that show, particularly, because Eggman will play him for his empathy and all that sort of stuff. And the other characters, when they need Knuckles to do something, like saying, oh, you're supposed to be a real tough, cool treasure hunter, aren't you, Knuckles?
Literally.
But it turns out you're shit, says Cream the Rabbit. So...
It's all about him and his values and his perception of self. It's like, just a play to that and he'll give in to what it is you're trying to get him to do.
Knuckles would fall for the, oh no, I'm just a little birthday boy routine every time.
Literally.
Well, all right, if it's your birthday.
It's true.
That part of Knuckles, I think, gets exaggerated in different media. And, I think we do have to step back and realize, like, oh, when it happens in Sonic X, like, oh, that is canon. Also, like, as much as, especially, I think our people our age who like, oh, yeah, well, we were already past our tweens and into teens and like discovering the sub and like, oh, this is so much better than that 4Kids kitty stuff. Like, well, was always a television show for children, like ages 6 to 10, like for real. And so like I can forgive when it's sometimes, even in like the really bad episodes where like it's exaggerated. And I mean, Amy falls into that category too. But I do think, and I mean, we revisited Sonic Riders not too long ago. That's where I'm like, well, this just isn't fun. All these characters are acting very silly and exaggerated, but they aren't doing anything I like. So I do think at that very, now looking at it all laid out on our outline, that very short amount of time, Knuckles was a little irritating because he was just a big dummy, but now I'm glad that they haven't exactly thrown the baby out with the bathwater. Like, I'm immediately thinking of like the short before Sonic Frontiers and Sonic Frontiers itself, where now we are, and the comics of the IDW comics have done this too, have started to like, the Master Emerald is always there. Like, that was the big thing, the Sonic Adventure era, the new era of Sonic. Oh, the Master Emerald, it's what keeps the Angel Island alive. But I love that we are learning more in the games about, like, Knuckles' relationship with Angel Island, to where he doesn't know everything about it. Like, oh, I've lived here all my life, and I'm still discovering, like, secret passages and,
New things.
Clues to, like, cultures that may have been here even before the echidnas. And I really like that. I like that they're not, when people are like, well, if Knuckles isn't on the island, who's guarding the Master Emerald? It's like, okay, well, calm down. Like, even Knuckles isn't taking it that seriously anymore, or knows what he's doing, okay?
He's been doing it so long, we can trust that he knows when things will be all right, okay?
Yes. It hasn't exploded. The Master Emerald has not exploded in quite a long time. So
doesn't
he
just
must
wander
be doing
off
a pretty
on its
good
own.
job.
Not like a cat. Just leave a saucer of milk, it'll stay where it is.
It can't just be picked up by Rouge or Eggman anymore.
Yeah.
I just had a thought about Knuckles like punching a cat and it explodes into a million pieces. Like, I gotta get all the pieces of this cat back together.
Oh no! Oh no!
That's horrifying.
Yeah, that wasn't the Master Emerald. That's just a thing Knuckles can do. He can split things into parts.
Oh god. He's got a little radar and
no, poor kitty cat.
Someone's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm looking for pieces of a cat.
It's just going off on top of him like,
yeah. He changes colors when he gets close. God.
He finally restores the cat and it just scratches him and runs away.
Yeah, literally.
And he's like, you know what, fair.
I deserve that.
He's like, I don't know what I expected, actually.
a real psychopath could make a really good Sonic Adventure mod of this, but don't do that.
That's a really good point. Probably wouldn't be that hard.
Oh, we've got an outline here. What's going on in that thing?
I guess, I mean, we've kind of been going on in like the timeline as far as like, we talked about his debut, his, the Sonic Adventure revamp, which introduced like, no, he is the guardian of the Master Emerald. And then, kind of how that started to fade away and mostly just an excuse to like have Knuckles around more.
Right.
And the edges kind of get to start shaved off. And I mean, I guess the big thing is, not to jump ahead to like all of the extended media, but I mean, I feel like people tend to consider Boom Knuckles a bigger influence on Game Knuckles than I think he really was. And maybe some of that is Lost World, where he plays a very small part and is just there for some jokey jokes with Amy.
Yeah, but Lost World was before Boom. And even before that, he was barely in Generations, but like the one thing he does other than, be like, I could have gotten out of there, but thanks anyway, is he's like, you weren't half bad, Sonic. And then Amy slaps him into a tree.
Yeah.
I feel like he was kind of pushed to the sidelines a lot and he didn't really have much to do during that era, in the same way that, when we talked about Shadow during that episode, we talked about how he kind of got pushed to the side as well. Like, Knuckles was still there, obviously, still participating, but he wasn't really, like, he never really had any, moments to himself or anything that really added to his character. He was just kind of the guy that helps out when it's needed, and all the stuff about the Master Emerald or guardianship or everything just didn't really have any influence.
you got to think about how we got to that point, I suppose, because he wasn't always like that, even in his sillier times during some of the the adventure games. Like, all of his backstory and everything was always there. It was always a part of who he is. And I don't know. I feel like some of the games, they just kind of, they just decided, actually, that part where he's gullible and dumb, that's all he is now. That's kind of what it came down to.
And to be fair, the fandom did the same thing during that era.
True. So did I when I was making the Sonic shorts.
I guess a way for me to rephrase that is by the time Boom came around and intentionally decided to have Knuckles be this like meathead butt monkey, people because Knuckles hadn't had a prominent feature in the main franchise, I feel like there was a reaction like, oh great, this is all Knuckles is ever going to be. But I feel like he didn't do that in the main games. He just continued to be just there. And
just around,
people fill in the gaps. I mean, I think that is why we have now I think a very silly thing like, well, who's guarding the Master Emerald? If Knuckles is, he never talks about it anymore. And I'm like, okay, it's easy to dismiss that now, but I kind of get it.
I mean, let the guy have hobbies.
It's true.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he says that in one of the Archie comics. It's like, hey, I've got other things going on. It's not the only thing in my life.
It's true. That's why people want him to hook up with Rouge so bad. So he just has something else to do.
So he has a life.
Sometimes is he just literally sitting there twiddling his thumbs like, yep, this sure is guarding the Master Emerald.
Yep. Guess I'll go explore those ruins again.
I was going to say, he's sometimes depicted as an explorer also, but not always.
They do kind of push the treasure hunter thing a fair bit in some of the Japanese. The first time I heard that was in the OVA when they were just like, I'm Knuckles, I'm a treasure hunter, and that's my whole thing, and also I have a hat now.
Yep.
That's how you know he's in treasure hunter mode is when he has the hat. Duh.
Yeah.
Without the hat, he can't do it anymore. Imagine you ask him like, Knuckles, how come you never go like adventuring and exploring anymore? He's like, can't find my hat.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Go around bald?
He really sticks to his values, that guy. He's just like, I can't go adventuring without my adventuring hat. Duh.
Man, I do think there is the potential for a comic or something of a Knuckles Rouge team up treasure hunting, but Knuckles is because of his because he is his relationship with Angel Island and the Master Emerald. He is very much like the Indiana Jones, like, oh well, this should be preserved. We got to learn. Right. And Rouge is just like the Lara Croft with Desert Eagles. Like, yep, this will look good in my big ass mansion.
Yeah, I immediately think of like, I believe it was one of the specials where Amy comes to visit Knuckles to warn him about something, and like he shows her around the island and basically goes off. Yeah. Just talking about like all the different little, things about the island, and shows that, I think that, like we were talking about, Knuckles tends to get pigeonholed into the big dummy dum-dum kind of niche by a lot of people, but Knuckles is very intelligent. It's just, that sort of autistic hyperfixation on very specific things.
He can be very stubborn in his convictions.
Speaking of the adventure era, like I kind of wish that one fact that would like pop up on like character profiles that Knuckles dislikes crowds and bright light.
Bright light. He's an Aquarius.
I kind of wish they would kind of revisit that. Like, not just like that Knuckles is antisocial, but not really because he doesn't like people. It's just overwhelming.
He has sensory issues.
That's the way he likes it.
Which again makes sense given that he's been living in isolation his entire life, and
that's what he's used to.
Comparatively recently within the timeline of the games, started reaching out to people.
You have to think, this is a guy who was, on this island all on his own, surrounded by ruins and desolation for the longest time. Then some guy drops down on a giant spaceship and builds a carnival there.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's not really doing Knuckles a lot of favors when a lot of people he meets are really annoying.
Yeah.
So he's like, I think I'll stop being a loner. And then everyone is like really obnoxious. And he's like, I've changed my mind. I'm going to go back to that whole being alone.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. I was thinking too in looking at because I have a little Venn diagram that I drew and that I was trying to fill out, but then I sort of got confused. But at least Knuckles is consistent enough that this Venn diagram is not totally necessary. But I had made a Venn diagram that was like, 3 circles, and one said just hot-headed, one said stupid, and then the bottom one said gullible, and then there's like an overlap of like. And then I kind of got confused. That's how I was talking about before. Sometimes he's gullible. Sometimes he's just naive. Sometimes he's just plain stupid type of deal. But I was seeing some consistency in Knuckles' character that I wish was fully consistent, that it's like Knuckles is not, or at least shouldn't be stupid, and that he cannot learn and, has no interest in things or any thoughts. It's that like he's very smart about certain subjects, the things that interest him. He's very, well versed in the things that he's come to know and, about his past, about his surroundings, etc. But he's just very, very strong in what his beliefs are, what his values are. And so sometimes when those things get contested is when the hot-headedness comes out, and that's when he's, unwilling to change his views or, unaccepting of what the potentially if things that he has believed to be true could be untrue. He's like, no. That's not what I understand. So, but that's not the same as being just stupid. It just means he's strong in his beliefs and his confidence and etc.
Yeah. I think a good example of how that has been used to actually flesh Knuckles out more, and please correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't revisited all the cutscenes like verbatim yet. But Knuckles is side story in Frontiers, where he's like, he's organizing these Coco. He's kind of acting like the general again. He's trying to whip him into shape. But then kind of when that doesn't work out, he just sits down with Sonic and kind of like admits to him like, man, I thought for sure this was going to work, but it didn't. And I'm kind of at a crossroads here, Sonic. And Sonic just kind of encourages him. It's like, yeah, that doesn't mean you're a bad person or like you didn't try. Like we're all doing our best. And I think that's how it goes.
No.
Like I said, I don't remember verbatim, but
I was waiting for the moment to say when we mentioned it earlier that I was like, when I was watching the Frontiers cutscenes and stuff, because that I had like no real memory of. I was like, oh man, so much of this is like music to my ears. I was like, Knuckles is not stupid. He's not like empty-headed. He's actually pretty intelligent. He just has a lot of confidence and a lot of strong beliefs, and sometimes that leads to problematic situations for him. Also, again, the gullibility is like he can sometimes be easily persuaded, as we were saying before, if he is appealed to in a way that is in line with his beliefs. I'm the birthday boy shit and whatever. And then he's like, all right.
Mika, did you watch the Divergence prologue short for Frontiers? That's gorgeous. It's some of the best Knuckles stuff I've seen.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. I didn't want to mention it because I didn't want to be weird about it.
No, I'm about to mention it because I love that you spend like the whole 80% of it is like, oh, here is smart Knuckles talking about the Master Emerald and Angel Island and taking care of Chow and stuff he's really good at. And then he gets to the, he's like, oh, an ambush, huh? Well, your funeral. Because, and then he proceeds to beat the fucking shit out of these robots because he's Knuckles the goddamn echidna.
I was going to say.
I just love that balance. And, I think it was, what was it? Tyson Hess did the sound design for that. And
love
had
that
very
guy.
little access to stuff from Frontiers because it was still in development. But absolutely talked about he overmixed that Knuckles punch to where it is like a tiny fraction from just blowing out the speakers. And I'm like, yeah, because Knuckles hits like a fucking truck. Good stuff.
I was like, how do I say it without being weird? Animation is gorgeous. The art is gorgeous. Everything is beautiful. And Knuckles is there. And then he starts talking and it's like, oh my God, he's actually Knuckles for real. And he's not lobotomized. This is perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is perfect. So wonderful.
Ian Flynn was writing at that point, and that guy has learned the hard way how to write Knuckles the Echidna and all these characters.
Yeah. It's so funny to me. I think like I'm generalizing on purpose when we poke fun at Sonic fans, but like the thing the Sonic fandom has taken to like they don't like about Sonic Frontiers is everybody's just talking about their characters and feelings. I'm like, I think that's my favorite part because again, these are characters with like almost 3 decades worth of history in that game, and they just get to sit down and talk to Sonic the Hedgehog about like, yeah, man, my life has been complicated. Let's work like metatextually and in the text. Like, let's work out how these characters cannot throw all of that development away and continue to be consistent characters.
Yeah, and the fact, like we were talking about earlier, like a lot of those characters had become so divergent over the last, however many years over the course of multiple games and different characterizations and everything that you kind of did need like a game to reestablish at their core who these characters are.
For real.
Yeah, I think it took a lot of balls, like not to take away attention from Knuckles, but for Tails to literally say like, well, then I'm wildly inconsistent.
Right.
Because he had been like for quite a long time. Like we talk about, dumbing down Amy and Knuckles and Sonic X and whatnot. But I mean, Tails had kind of lost a little bit of his little brother side to Sonic and had just become the little tech guy and had become, like it would have been so easy in Frontiers to just ignore anything that happened in Sonic Forces because that story is a mess, and yet it is used as the crux of Tails' character development, and I just really appreciate that even years down the road now.
Well, the fans are wrong. Sorry.
The fans don't like it because they don't want Sonic characters to sit down and talk, because Sonic needs to be the wind. He needs to be just this cool, confident guy who just runs around from place to place, and he can't sit down and have a conversation with these people. That's not the Sonic I grew up with. Anyway, we're talking about Knuckles, sorry.
Yeah, Knuckles is the Rock. He's, he stands firm. Like he stands firm. He's not, he can't easily be bullied into, doing what goes against his beliefs, and you can smell what he's cooking.
Unlike Sonic, he don't chuckle. He'd rather flex his muscles.
He has no rich inner life, may not have a real personality on his own except what's on social media, completely dead inside, full of human growth hormone.
Shut up!
I kind of feel like in a series like Sonic that has had so many different little iterations between, movies and cartoons, comics, games, where like the story has changed so differently depending on the context, but the characters are, for the most part, somewhat the same. It's like it needed to kind of be re-injected with like, okay, so the whole core of this franchise is the characters. What's appealing about it is the characters. So we do actually have to have the characters sit down and talk and reestablish who they are, or we're never going to get anywhere.
You're absolutely right. And people didn't... There are lots of... Sorry, when I say lots of fans don't like it, I mean Sonic fans of a certain age who are used to Sonic characters being kind of one note, let's be honest.
The vocal minority on social medias.
Yeah.
The kind of people who are like, why do they keep talking about things that happened in previous games? That's so weird. I'm like, because they never do that before. They just kind of get bounced from game to game because each game is like its own little universe. And now they're trying to tie these things together so they have weight and meaning, that the things that you played in the past are actually significant. And people are like, no, I don't want that.
See, they just don't get it as me who grew up on Final Fantasy, and they're like, no, none of them are connected. And I went, oh, okay.
And I almost never hear that complaint about Sonic 06, the one that, that generation of Sonic fans cannot get over, when like that was literally meant to be a complete reboot of the entire franchise.
Right.
Like Knuckles ain't talking about the Master Emerald in that game, I don't think either.
Nope. Speaking of which, there's something that I feel like I've kind of noticed over the years is I feel like the American and UK Sonic media is much more interested in, Knuckles' connections to his past and his people, and the fact that he's the last one, than I think most, if not all, of the Japanese media is. Like,
Seems that way.
Obviously, Sonic Adventure, we learn a little bit about the ancient echidna tribes and everything, but there's a real incuriosity in Knuckles to, be seeing, these visions of his people and the atrocities they commit and everything. He just doesn't ever really comment on it. And, it's barely a thing in most of the Japanese written games even up to this day. Whereas like, I feel like even going back to the earliest comics, you know, people are like, oh, he's the last echidna, like all of his race are gone. And people, and literally every single writer is like, okay, there's something there. Let's build on this.
Right.
Like you go back to, you know, Archie, obviously they built a whole thing around that for better and for worse. But you go back to STC, and there's a lot of really interesting stories talking about, you know, the things that Knuckles people did before they all vanished to someday return when the time is right or whatever.
And both of those comics are like two different ends of the spectrum in how they choose to portray the echidnas.
Right.
I was about to say that I think, I mean, it could just be hindsight and again, coming to STC after years of growing up with Archie, but I think STC is like probably the better executed of like, still keeping it mostly vague and like, about how like the Echidna Society was, but introducing like Dr. Zachary and just want to make sure it gets mentioned on the show, but the little mini arc where Knuckles finds the dinosaur ghosts and like gets I mean, you know, if you drop that wholesale into a follow-up to Adventure, like I still think would fit pretty nicely. That the echidnas like what literally exterminated all of the ghosts. Yeah. It's like, oh, maybe the echidnas weren't as noble as I wish they were with all of their
I was just about
technology.
to say, it's much more interesting to me when they bring it to a point where Knuckles, because every so often they drop notes of him being like, why do I do this? And should I do this? And it's like, that's a part of his character that should be explored more, I feel like, when he's like, oh yeah, maybe my ancestors weren't good people, actually.
And it's just funny that STC sort of like understood that, like, oh yeah, the
right.
Like, even before Sonic Adventure came out, they were like, there are these ancient race who just happen to live in ruins that look like the ruins of North America, and also they were assholes and did bad things to other tribes and people. Just manages to hit on that. And Archie was like, actually, they're living in a futuristic space city behind a barrier. And
yeah, I'm not so into that.
And they're simultaneously Hitler and not Hitler.
Yeah.
It's Hitler's all the way down.
Sorry, I'm imagining that image that Ken Penders drew of all the echidnas in the exact same pose. But they're all Hitlers.
Oh my god. They're just
God.
adults.
Like, you know, we were always going to be like, the hard part of this episode was always going to be Archie Knuckles because there's a lot to that. But at the same time, you know, going back and relitigating that, you kind of realize that in the same way as I know a lot of people complain about the Knuckles show, it's more interested in the people around Knuckles than it is so much in advancing his character. And, you know, there is obviously stuff there that it tries to do both under, you know, Pender's pen and under Ian's, but it's one of those cases where I wish that it had been more interested in exploring, you know, what this stuff means, like how this stuff affects Knuckles. Because a lot of times, you know, there will be, you know, they'll commit some sort of atrocity and there will be, you know, the most surface level objection from Knuckles, and then it just kind of gets brushed away.
Yeah. I think the ultimate example of, and I mean, it was his brainchild, so it's hard not to mention Ken Penders, but the ultimate example of him just having so many ideas tied to this Sonic the Hedgehog character is that the green Knuckles arc, the chosen one, like you said, Knuckles is the Christ figure of Mobius, literally leads to nothing, leads to absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. Green Knuckles happens, things happen around him, and then he almost does nothing with that power except screw up a few times. He tries to change history and explodes the universe a few times and then just burns out and oops, there we go. And I think that's without going through every single issue, like, oh, Knuckles' dad kills himself in front of a young Knuckles, leaving him around forever, except he was secretly going to the cavalcade of racist Knuckles' grandpas and and all that stuff. But yeah, the thing about those is like, yeah, stuff happens around Knuckles, and then it cuts to him and is like, Knuckles, what do you think about that? It seems pretty complicated. And then other things start happening. It's like, oh, Knuckles, are you going to join up? Yeah, are you going to join up with your great-grandfather Dimitri, who is literally Mecha Hitler? Yeah, I mean, he's a bad guy, but what other choice do I have?
He's family.
Yeah, it's literally what he says.
Blood runs thicker than water.
How many times I would see in the Archie comic, and not just in the stuff that we were researching for this episode, it'll be like, Knuckles' dad is like, and things were terrible, but don't worry, we took care of it on our own terrible way. And Knuckles is like, hang on a minute, that's bad. He's like, no, it isn't, because I said so. And Knuckles is like, you're right, Dad, I'm sorry, I didn't think about it too hard.
Praise be to the Avatar.
Family dynamics are complicated.
I guess colonization is really more complicated than you would think.
Ooh.
That's right, Knuckles.
No, you're damn right, Knuckles.
Yeah, damn right, Knuckles. I guess if we're talking about Archie, I would say the coolest thing that actually did get carried over into new Archie before the reboot, I do think the concept of Interjack was pretty cool and had a pretty neat finale under Ian Flynn's pen.
I did like that story, Return of Enerjack, or Enerjack Reborn, where Knuckles became Enerjack, who was manipulated into becoming Enerjack. I'm not like huge into a lot of the ideas that the Archie Knuckles stories were doing, but Enerjack's a neat one, even if he does look like a duck sometimes when he's getting beaten up. I think that's weird how he has a beak all of a sudden.
And I think that Interjack is a cool concept. This echidna. Dimitri was the first, and it was from absorbing the energy from the Chaos Emeralds with his siphon and whatnot. And he's this all powerful being. I mean, I think how Interjack Reborn ends with my favorite thing about it is that Knuckles' dad, Locke, literally dies and never comes back. From I can't remember, doesn't he harness the power of the Master Emerald to basically like reset everything and whatnot?
Yeah, it's basically like Finitivus did his curse on the Master Emerald. That was what turned him into Enerjack, but it is so like it like so far corrupted the emerald that the only way to remove it would be for someone to sacrifice their life. And Locke realizes that, everything that I've done up to this point has put Knuckles onto this path, even if, there is, scientific meddling also involved. It's also, rooted in these beliefs that I've instilled in my son over these years and everything I've done up to this point. But I do still love my son, and I still like it. I'm sorry it took me this long to realize it. I need to do this to, protect him.
Which he did after initially saying, Sonic, you need to help me kill my son.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is, it's fucked up, but that's like, that suits the Locke we've seen in these comics, sadly.
This cannoli's great. I'm going to kill my son.
I feel like that is how the Green Knuckles arc should have ended. It should have been oh my god, my son has been gifted this godlike power, but it's destroying him, and I have to, But I like that Ian and the editorial team at the time were picking up loose ends and like, okay, well, what is something cool from this mess that we can tell a really neat story from? And I mean, we forget that we got Scourge out of that whole thing. Like I said, Locke dead, gone forever. He's in Mobius hell, etc., etc. And we actually kind of got the echidnas actually did something, and it was neat. That's how I felt with the Return to Angel Island arc as well, with Carl Ballers wrote the most of that.
Yeah, that was a Ballers where they really leaned into the Christ allegory stuff for Knuckles.
Yes, it was literally, I'm sorry, we got to pick on Ken. It was taking Ken's broad ideas that he didn't do anything with and actually like, okay, let's put a pin on this one thing and do something with this one thing.
Yo, you're absolutely right, because Ken was limited on what he could do in the Sonic strip, but Knuckles was his boy, and he was like, oh, I can pin all of my bullshit on this guy, so I'm going to make him even more important than Sonic. In fact, when we do Sonic Adventure, he's going to be the one that beats Chaos, basically, because he's my boy. He's the best character.
Oh, man.
And in a way, I can kind of understand it, because Knuckles is my boy as well, but it's different in Ken Pender's case.
And that was the biggest thing, I think, for me growing up, trying to parse all of that Ken Pender's Knuckles story, is it kind of, even as a kid, I'm like, I wanted to see Knuckles interact more with, I guess, the main cast, because when he was off on his own, like, I don't know, fucking around in Ken's failed Dungeons and Dragons campaign, I'm like, okay, Knuckles is totally sauceless. Like, he has no personality because he's being talked at, or he's self-narrating the story, trying to make sure, like, the kids can understand it, I suppose.
Well, if he's not, like, just talking to himself, recapping what's happened so far, he's got a little fire ant on his shoulder telling him what he's supposed to be thinking, so...
That era of Archie specifically, Knuckles' personality got completely sanded off. Because at least when he's, like, quipping and fighting with Sonic, like, you can get a little bit of a contrast to their personalities. Like, again, I'm thinking of Mecha Madness, where they're both hotheads, they're both fighting, but especially when Knuckles is talking to Sally, he realizes, like, okay, but this is part of a serious plan. Whereas, like, they're all operating on the assumption Sonic has betrayed them, and Knuckles is kind of like... I like how he gets kind of, I told you so. He like, yep, I knew he'd always screw this up. You know, not me though. I'm Knuckles. I would have been better than that. And that's just the thing I take away from that era of Archie the most, is Knuckles is, like I've already said, everything happens around him, and it sucks. Knuckles isn't cool in the Knuckles the Echidna comics.
It's funny because we're talking about all these character traits that Knuckles has in all the other ones, and he doesn't really have them so much. I suppose you could say he's naive and gullible because he believes everything his dad tells him and all that. And
yes.
And his mentors, but not in the same way, you know? This is just a kid. This is like Knuckles is a child here. A child who's just going along with what his dad says. It's different from being the prideful guardian of the Master Emerald. This is just some kid who's being roped along in some stupid bullshit all the time.
The naive side, the one that's like, well, it's his dad.
I would love to think that there is a fanfic series out there that we just don't know of an actual, like a middle-aged Knuckles going to therapy basically and realizing how much he was emotionally damaged by his like I said, the cavalcade of racist grandpas. Which I can't think of the Guardian Council. I think that's from Thanks Ken Penders, Bobby Schroeder. Yeah.
To its credit, I think it takes until Mobius 25 years later for Knuckles to realize, hey, my dad kind of sucked. I need to like not raise my kid the same way my dad raised me.
Yeah, and even then...
Which, was still under Pender's pen.
Yeah, even then, there are some super awkward moments where Knuckles is basically like, you're not going outside in that, are you, young lady? Like, that kind of bullshit. And of course...
Knuckles and generational trauma.
Yeah, when Locke does die of, pancreatic cancer, and Ken Penders is like, this is how my dad died, so this is also how Knuckles' dad is going to die. And Knuckles loves his dad and everything he did. I'm like... Oh, Jesus. See, Ken, you can't do that because then we feel bad when we're like, and it sucks ass. You shouldn't have done it.
So that's why Ian Flynn was like, no, he gets self-sacrifices himself on the Master Emerald because that's how a Sonic character should die.
Exactly. If you're going to kill him.
You can't dislike this because my dad died once.
It's just...
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be concerned if it was more than once.
Also, Rotor was gay, and if you didn't know that, you're homophobic.
God, that's... Oh, man. It wasn't there in the text, but he talked about it later, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna...
Okay. Any other instances of that in fiction? You were saying?
I was gonna crack a joke about me being like, I'm opening a blank Google Doc right now to write about Knuckles in therapy, and then I was like, no, I'd probably actually do that. I shouldn't spoil it. That's completely in the realm of possibility for me, I'm afraid. In a certain mood, I'll just be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do some Knuckles character exploration in the form of writing about him going to therapy.
Look forward to Mika's future stream where she reads all of the Archie Knuckles series and has to sort all that out.
Oh, God. I am Knuckles' therapist. And I'm like,
Why don't
I
we
have to
start from
sort
the
this
beginning,
out.
Mr. Knuckles?
The stream ends with me being like, so I'm going to prescribe him this medication. I guess that would be like a psychiatrist, but still. So Knuckles has this and that disorder, and I'm going to prescribe him this medication, and this is the line of, this is my approach I'm going to take to therapy with him. Lord help me.
So we had to talk about Knuckles' early history in the comics. I feel like we have paid it lip service because, like it or not, that is a huge part of his character. And I think the good aspects of it have influenced his portrayals in other media.
For sure.
I mean, we've already touched on OVA where, the OVA is its own little thing where like the Angel Island probably doesn't even exist. And so Knuckles is this cool treasure hunter vagabond. And I mean, even in Underground, like,
Who can fly.
as silly as our short king is in Underground, we did have to slap our foreheads and be like, holy shit, this is kind of an adaptation of Sonic 3 and Knuckles in Sonic Underground.
Yeah.
It's about as close as we got.
Yeah.
Also, our author is there.
Yeah. Again, going back to what I'm talking about, where only the Western media seems really like interested in talking about Knuckles' past and history and everything.
Okay, now I have, because we've talked about X and Boom, and we've talked a little bit about the movies, and we can go back to that. I've just been thinking about Sonic Prime recently for reasons. Is any, okay. This might be a can of worms.
Oh.
Is any good portrayal of, I will stick with Knuckles here, of the characters in Sonic Prime an accident? Or do you think they actually were trying to, like, show different sides of these characters? Because I think Knuckles is probably the most fun at times, but looking back on Prime, I'm really like, was this on purpose, or were they really just, Man of Action was slotting these characters into these archetypes that they could have done with any franchise? It just happened to be Sonic the Hedgehog.
Seeing how the show actually span out, like how it actually turned out, I tend not to give them much credit for anything because I'm like, they didn't know what they were doing. But I will say, like, Knuckles the Dread, the pirate version of Knuckles, actually being, like, conniving and, like, a conniving person searching for a jewel as opposed to, like, a naive person guarding a jewel is a nice sort of inversion of Knuckles the Echidna if you're going to do, like, a weird alternate version of Knuckles. It's just that he's a funny pirate man. That's about it.
I do think that is a really strong. It is like, okay, what if Knuckles, the only thing he cared about was treasure hunting, and okay, yeah, he's a crazy pirate.
Right.
That is all he cares about, is getting the big shinies.
We did say we wanted more treasure hunting Knuckles. They gave us what we asked for.
The monkey's paw curls.
Exactly.
We wanted him to have a cool hat.
It's like, shoot. It's like, I do like pirates. You got me there.
And I do like the, it's not really a twist. We just learn that, like, oh, okay. And he's also so selfish that, like, he may have killed his last crew, by going after the, the unobtainable treasure.
The beauty.
And I do got to say, I do like the Raphael from the first Ninja Turtles movie voice on Renegade Knuckles. I wouldn't hate it if, Game Knuckles even have that, a little silly voice.
No. I agree.
I've been sitting on this. Knuckles' voices. We did this on Amy. What do we think is the best vocal representation of Knuckles the Echidna? Just while we're here.
Oh, boy.
I want to say up front, I think that's a hard one because his longtime Japanese actor, the guy who's been doing it, since the first adventure?
Yeah, Nobutoshi Kana, who I met in person once and had signed my Sonic Adventure 2 copy.
Sweet.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think he has one of those voices that's kind of hard to translate into like an English performance because it's he's cool, but also like silly and hot-headed, but also doesn't completely lose his tone. And I don't want to sound like a huge weeb, but I mean, I kind of said the same thing when we talked about Amy. It's just a hard voice to translate into American English. So I think Knuckles has had some ups and downs.
So I'm just imagining him grabbing like that copy of Sonic Adventure 2, grabbing a pen and going, oh, da, 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 da.
No, I agree. When you brought up the question, I was like, well, in Japanese, it's like, yeah, the guy that's been voicing Knuckles forever. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what I want Knuckles to sound like. But in English, it's like, I feel like every new iteration I hear, I'm like, yeah, this is about right. But, you know, there's not one in particular. I'm like, that's it. That nails it. You know what I mean? Just like, yeah, this is fine. This is pretty good. This suits him. I think I can only tell you the times it was really bad. I mean, I was thinking too when I was rewatching the Sonic Adventure scenes when I was like, yeah, this is not good voice acting, and part of that is the bad voice direction. The absolutely atrociously bad voice direction. But I was also like, I'm not getting a whole lot of the like edginess and anger from Knuckles. He feels very sedated. He feels like he's just a little bit like angsty almost, but he's not angry. He didn't even in times when I thought, and again, it could be bad voice direction, in times that I thought he should be like, he was just kind of like, oh yeah, whatever.
In Sonic Adventure in particular, where it was Michael McGahan, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but the guy who played him that one time, and it was in like the released version of the game, not the E3 demo one where he had a completely different voice actor, who's the guy who goes, oh no.
Yeah.
That's that one line of his that made it into the final version. But yeah, most of the time he's got this really sedated delivery. Like, that is very strange. I wonder why I'm here.
Literally.
Oh, well.
The whole time I'm like, did Knuckles take like a Klonopin or something? Like he's just like, he's totally fine with everything. All of a sudden he's just
Took
sort
a
of
grape
like
flavored
confused.
gummy and
I think that's probably one of those cases where the director would have done it differently, but Sega was like, you know, no, have him read it like this, in that same way where it's like, you know, I think back to the old Resident Evil dubs where no normal person in English would talk like that, but because they are, you know, a Japanese client talking about how the delivery works in Japanese, they're like, oh, then this must sound good in English as well.
Yeah, like the Maria thing and stuff too. It's just like, they're Japanese, so they, you know, Yosh. It's not, and Yosh. It's like, it's not their fault. It's just,
It's still an older example, but a more recent. Another thing that's been on my mind, unfortunately, is Metroid Other M, to where that was the exact same scenario where you had these competent actors, but were literally directed by the Japanese director of the game who did not speak English. It's like, no, more monotone, and just nobody could override him.
Yeah, I mean, and these are people getting paid, so when the voice director tells them do this, they're gonna be like, all right, it's your funeral.
Yeah.
If you've ever
not the director.
If you've ever played Tekken 7 and listened to the reporter in that story mode, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah. And, you know, Scott Dreer took over for Adventure 2. Very funny. In between that, we had Ryan as Knuckles in Sonic Shuffle. But then, like, Scott Dreer, I think, works really good. He's almost too cool as Knuckles in Adventure 2, to where, like, some of the times where Knuckles is flustered and his voice does get up, you know, that high screaming in Japanese that works. I'm like, oh, he's almost too cool, to where now he sounds silly when he's supposed to be overreacting. Although I love the line. It's in the epilogue in the credits where he's talking to Rouge, and you know, she says something like, maybe I have something better than gems on my mind, and he goes, if you say so. And I'm like, ooh, he's got the riz right there.
Ooh, that's so true. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm just like remembering 12-year-old me, and I'm like, oh, so that's what did it. Because they gave Knuckles too much riz in some of the first games I played, and I was like, oh.
and to go back to voice direction, like, I love Dan Green. I think he's a great voice in general. Yeah. But Dan Green is the kind of guy's like, you want me to yell? Because I'm gonna motherfucking yell, and that's what. I
don't know. In the original Sonic X, in particular, it's particularly bad. He's like, all right, Sonic, big man. And I feel that kind of maybe shaped people's perceptions of what Knuckles should sound like.
Yeah.
I mean, between the two, I would prefer Knuckles, who's yelling, not necessarily yelling, but is at least really gruff and like abrasive over time, over sedated Knuckles, just going, oh no, what do I do?
I feel like there's a better balance in stuff like, Shadow the Hedgehog 05 and the other games that
it smooths out.
played him.
Yeah.
It smooths out eventually.
Yeah, I remember that in revisiting to where going from dubbed episodes of Sonic X to Shadow, I'm like, oh, okay, Knuckles has chilled out a lot.
I took half a gummy this time.
But there is still that contrast. And what is it? Oh, the very last scene where Eggman's trying to tiptoe away and Knuckles does just like, get back here, Eggman!
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
He's still not.
Two voices that I think that don't get talked about that much are Brian Drummond in Underground and Bill Wise in the OVA, where I think they're trying to do like a very sort of nasal take as to make him more of a counterpart to Sonic. And I think that that's an interesting, way of going at it.
Well, people don't talk about Brian Drummond as Knuckles very often because we didn't know it was Brian Drummond for a long time.
People thought it was Ian Corlett for years.
Yeah. And then people were like, wait a minute, is this Brian Drummond? And Brian was like, yep, it's me. I was like, oh, shit, well, you should have told us.
I was actually going to get to, I was wondering if you're going to be like, what was your least favorite Knuckles voice that you've heard? And I was going to be like, when I was watching the Underground episodes, and like, listen, the voice acting in Underground in general is, it's Saturday morning cartoon-ish, but I was just like, I don't like this Knuckles voice.
They've got some talented actors in there, but sheesh.
Yeah, it's, again, it serves a purpose, whatever, but when I was watching it and I heard Knuckles, I was like, first of all, hate this voice. I just hate it. But second of all, I'm like, he sounds too similar to Sonic, and I feel like it's almost to a point it's confusing because they make it so nasally and whatever. It's like, no, they should have at least given him a lower voice. I mean, again, I'm not asking them. They're supposed to be like kids here. It's supposed to be more high pitched, whatever. I'm like, I'm not asking them to make him like totally more, masculine and gruff. It's just like, but it needs to be like a little more different than Sonic. So I'm like, and 2 notes. It was like 2 strikes against it. I was like, too similar to Sonic, and I hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, can you imagine the version of it where he's like, hey, what's going on, Nux? Hello, Sonic.
Yes, because I would like that.
Hello, Sonic.
Hello, Sonic.
I think that is also my main
it's like hello, Mario.
with his voice in the OVA as well. It's much better acted. Like the dub of the OVA, I think, is like very competently like directed and acted. It's just sometimes the voices, I'm like, why was that decision made? Like
little bit.
Dr. Robotnik having a little bit of a Russian German accent, and Knuckles being way, way up in his nose, but he's not, it's not a bad performance. It's just, it's, it's so funny that Underground and the OVA, because they were, the dub for the OVA came out right during Adventure's release, same with Sonic Underground. And there was just such a contrast with the game Knuckles where it's like, okay, these sure were some decisions that were made.
I like Bill Wise's take on Knuckles, but at the same time, I'll also fully admit that like I'm just completely like red tinted glasses for the OVA in general. So
nostalgia pill.
You're OVA aren't you?
See, it's nice because that's I'm sorry, I don't mean to like totally interrupt you, because I did want to say because I've watched the OVA a million times. I have a lot of friends that have extreme nostalgia and fondness for it. So it's one of those things where I'm like at someone's house and they're like, let's watch the old Sonic OVA. I'm like, all right. But like, I don't have that, like, again, I don't have the nostalgia for it. I didn't see it until I was a full-grown adult. When I saw it, I was like, I didn't know this existed. And my friend's like, yeah, I had a VHS tape of it. I'm like, I didn't know that. When I was watching it, I was like, when I was watching it the other day, just to think about Knuckles and his stuff, I was like, I don't have the nostalgia for this. And honestly, I don't love it. I love that Metal Sonic is there. Everything else outside of it was like, what else do I like about this again? And then Knuckles shows up in the hat, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay. I was like, why did I like this? Because most of it I'm not really super about. And then I was like, oh, wait, yeah, that'll do. That'll do.
Knuckles in a hat, walking in the air.
I've said the same thing. The Japanese cast for the OVA, I also don't think is much to write home about.
No.
Like, at least the English cast kind of stands out.
Yeah.
Like, I like that Sonic sounds like a delinquent punk in the Japanese cast, but I don't even remember what Knuckles sounds like.
I don't remember either. I only rewatched it in English. I didn't rewatch the Japanese. I've seen it before, but I certainly don't remember.
I do, again, want to pay, before we move on to other voices, want to pay special, I'm so sorry that they did that to you, my man, to Adam Narada, who only played Knuckles Prime, quote unquote, in Sonic Prime. Because, man, they did my man so dirty. Like, had Vincent Tong hamming it up as the other Knuckles is, and then he just gets to be like, hello, I am Knuckles.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to kind of sound like his American voice, and that's it.
Can you imagine that being your role and you're like, oh, okay.
Oh.
I still wonder if Vincent was not originally going to be all of them, and the main Knuckles was recast, like, leading up to, like, as a result of casting Idris Elba in the movie or something.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. That's, man, Sonic Prime is so weird, man. But at the same time, then you have, like, Travis Willingham taking over after Dan Green and whatnot, and then Dave B. Mitchell taking over for Travis, basically trying to do similar performances. And I think Travis was really good. He did do some of the, like, oh, Knuckles is just being a silly Billy, like Lost World. And then I think Dave B. Mitchell, like, started with a little bit of the, like, meathead in his voice, carried over from Sonic Boom. But I think now, because the material has changed, has really settled into a very, like, nuanced Knuckles performance.
He's definitely better at it now in some of the recent stuff I've heard, because there are some, a little earlier on when he was just getting used to the voice, there's very much that, maybe it's that vibe of being like this, I'm Knuckles.
Yeah.
Yeah, Team Sonic Racing was not his best work.
Yep.
No.
But I think Knuckles is another one of those too, and I mean that's not even bringing up Idris Elba, who is definitely his own unique performance that I think works really well in those movies.
Love.
But I think Knuckles is another one, kind of like maybe not as high a contrast as Shadow is, to where I think he has a very good English performance now. It's just always going to be different from his long-standing Japanese performance, and I think that's okay for the most part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for the record, my favorite Knuckles voice is Falero.
Yes.
That's the annoying thing. Because I come from a sort of like brain space of I never really saw Knuckles as having the deeper voice, and I don't have a deep voice, so I just make him sound like a guy, you know. But these days you'll hear Knuckles is like, no, Knuckles needs to sound like this. Whoa, punching. And I'm like, yeah, that's fair. That's what Knuckles has been for the longest time.
Yeah.
There's not the Knuckles I quite grew up with because I had STC Knuckles. He was a smart Knuckles, but then we just like had a story where he got tricked by another echidna, so I don't know. Maybe he's not as smart as I remember him being.
It's complicated.
It is.
Yep. But that is why our version of Knuckles is Sonic F is the best.
Yeah.
The end.
The end.
Wait, is that the actual end? What, do we not have anything else to talk about?
No.
No.
I mean, I think I wanted to make sure we kind of got through our main points before we just keep going on until we have to cut. So
I mean,
I hope that wasn't too presumptuous of me.
I was trying to not go off on how much, like, because I watched the episodes we had planned to watch of Sonic Boom for this, and then I kept watching more, and it kept making me angrier, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to go off on how upset I was getting, because it was like, in one corner, I have Knuckles, who's, you know, just lobotomized and, like, doesn't really think at all. It's like he's not... Sometimes he's gullible, sure, and like there's a whole episode where he's just like led into believe Styx tells him that he just has bad luck or whatever, and then he's like, yes, I put all of my faith and belief into that instantly, and I'm like, oh my god, yeah, he's gullible, but this is just plain stupid. So it's like in one corner I have Knuckles being dumb, and in the other corner I have Amy acting nothing like Amy. And I was just like, God.
Sonic Boom is very much its own thing of its, and it was intended to be, but it can be a bit jarring to go from, because it's got the same voice actors for the most part. So you're
exactly.
Like, I mean, it's kind of them. They aren't too different apart from that.
That's the main reason why I don't really have an issue with Boom Knuckles, is that from the very beginning, it's very, very clear. Hey, this is a different thing. It is not meant to supplant or replace or even, supplement the existing material. We're doing something different, and knowing that made it a lot easier to digest, in the same way that this is going to date me for a lot, but going back to the early 2010s, we had two different Marvel cartoons. We had Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which
True.
I pour one out, and then we had the Superhero Squad show, which was the goofy comedy version. It's like, these two things can coexist, and
It's true.
they're two different things. They're not stepping on each other's toes, and one does not mean that you can't enjoy the other.
No.
And that's made it a lot easier to digest and accept, as opposed to people who are still mad that Teen Titans Go exists.
True. No, you're right. I think for me, it's just that like Sonic Boom really epitomizes like what I don't like to see in Knuckles' characterization. And even though it's suitable for the context, it's just like, oh boy, there they are just making Knuckles nothing again. It's like he has nothing to his character. He's pretty much there to he's whatever will benefit the joke, and most of the time that just means saying something really dumb. And that's
he's the butt monkey.
But the thing is too is I sit there now. Just hear me out on this one. I sit there and wonder, like, and I think I mentioned this either. I might have mentioned this to Flora or like while we were setting up or something, that it's like I just feel like they could be even funnier and set up better jokes and more interesting plot lines if Knuckles had more character than just being stupid. But I get that that's easier to write. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have pitchforks. I'm just like, they're like, you're calling the writers lazy, and I'm like, I am a little bit, because I just feel like it could be more interesting if he was more contrasty to the rest of the cast. Just like I feel like Amy could be more interesting if she had character and just wasn't girl to contrast Styx, who is crazy. It's just like, oh yeah, Amy is subdued now because she's the not crazy one, and it's like, well, can't she just be like different crazy? Like, couldn't they play off each other funnier? Again, I'm not calling myself like the god of writing. I'm just like, I feel like it could just be done more interesting and still be really funny.
That's the thing about Sonic Boom, is I enjoy it as a silly little thing.
Yeah, it's funny.
But it
Don't
could
get
have
me
been
wrong.
so much more. It could have been really
Exactly.
interesting, and it wasn't. But then again, should Sonic Boom have ever happened to begin with? Probably not. It was a dumb idea for them to even do this. Let's be real.
I kind of watch Sonic Boom the same way I watch like online fan animations and comics and stuff, where it's like, this is just their interpretation and it is meaningless to anything else, you know what I mean? And it's there for jokes and to be funny and for you to poke fun at the characters. And then I'm able to not be so angry at it.
Except that this is official, and they made merch and money off of it. And they wanted to launch it into a whole franchise with video games and everything.
I plug my ears short. I was going to say, actually, too, how do we feel about Dorito-shaped Knuckles? We haven't even really talked about his design, because most of the time it's consistent.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Knuckles with hat, but then like there's Boom Knuckles where he's huge, and I'm ambivalent.
I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think that movie Knuckles is the perfect marriage of the two ends of the spectrum, one being Game Knuckles and one being Boom
Exactly
Knuckles.
what I was going to say.
Hard
Thank
agree.
you.
That's what I wondered, because I was gonna say I really like movie Knuckles in a lot of aspects. Just every approach they took to them was smart, and that is one of them. It's like, yeah, you can make him look more muscular, more top heavy than Sonic. It's kind of his thing. But Boom Knuckles, I'm like, yeah, it gives him a different silhouette. I don't know if it's all that necessary. I suppose it also plays into the fact it's like he's a big blockhead. But
I think that was the intention.
it was most of the intention, I'm sure. But I'm ambivalent towards it. I neither totally like nor totally dislike it.
That's kind of the thing. Sonic Boom, like, they wanted to make it like completely even more off the wall, as I understand it.
Of
you
course.
see some of the concept art for like Sonic and stuff, and he does not look like Sonic.
You're
and
right.
But that would have made it stand out on its own thing, and you wouldn't be like making all these comparisons to the actual Sonic characters, because this would have been its own little thing in the corner where everything's really weird. And you're like, yep, I can accept that's not. But they still kind of like wimped out a little bit. And it was like, oh, he's still Sonic, except for we stretched him out and put bandages on him because he's injured in the process. Because
he's injured.
Putting him on the rack.
Yeah, that's kind of the theme of Sonic Boom, isn't it? Just trying to do something, but at the same time playing it so safe to the core audience that it's like,
And to the point that they can use the same voice actors as in the games to make it even more confusing. And don't get me wrong, it's probably better because of it, because they've all got really good comic timing and they all bounce off each other really well.
Agree.
But it does make it's weird. It's weird having the game one. The game ones have the same voice.
The voice acting isn't inherently the problem because it is good, but yeah, when you consider the other media, it's like, now it is kind of a problem.
Yeah.
Then it actually leads to conflating things between the works that should remain separate.
Mm-hmm.
If they could have just made it, if it was just its stupid Ode thing with its own voice cast and its own, and it could be cheap and shit and bad, and we could all just laugh at it, I'd be fine with that. But they got to have these things that make me think of it. They could have been like the Donkey Kong Country cartoon, where this is really shit, but the voice actors are giving it their all. So fuck it, man. I will enjoy it anyway for its own separate thing.
But no, they had to go and be an actually funny show.
Yeah, it really pisses me off. Man.
How dare they?
At least on occasions.
I think that's why Sonic Prime pisses me off, is because they tried to do the exact opposite. Like, no, this is just like the games, except it has a different voice cast and different writers, and it sucks.
Yeah. See,
not that the voice performance in Prime is bad, but it is so separate from the actual games that it hurts it.
See, going back to what I was saying before about how I perceive these things in order to not make myself mad, if they just found some 16-year-old with all the time in the world and some kind of animation program and said, go make a bunch of funny Sonic cartoons and we'll pay you $20 an hour, they could be drowning in cash and it would still be the same level of quality.
I do not want to live in a world where Sonic Shorts was an official product.
Oh my God.
Boom Knuckles is kind of the aberration. Plus, he's got fingers, and that's weird.
I don't like that.
He is an aberration, but at the same time, I can never be too mad because A, it was always a separate thing, and B, he's actually funny. So I'm willing to roll
for the most part.
I was shocked in the Knuckles show when Wade Whipple was explaining bowling to him, and he's like, here, hold this ball in your hand. And I looked at him and I was like, how is Knuckles holding that right now that they didn't make a joke about it?
1,000,000%
missed opportunity.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess he just must have like the most intense grip, because I'm like, if I was wearing mittens like that, that bowling ball would be on my feet within a millisecond. But and I was like, I can't believe they didn't make a joke about this.
I think earlier in the show, when he's eating the grapes, there's a couple times where he like picks specific grapes off with his big old mitten hand. So he has some sort of dexterity.
He's kind of got a little bit of a pinching capability.
It's like the Powerpuff Girls. He's got like little micro hands.
Yeah, or Veggie Tails.
Yeah, it's just like you just can't see it.
I think what it comes down to is Knuckles is really powerful and strong, but he's also really delicate and gentle.
Oh.
Yes.
See, I said that just for sake.
I was like, I know he's trying to garner a response from me, but he's gonna get it. Like, come on. Delicate and gentle, are you kidding? Well, delicate and gentle where it counts. Yeah. Am I right, ladies?
Have you ever seen an echidna's tongue, by the way? Unrelated to the discussion.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy style.
Echidnas are just, they lay eggs. They have the weird penises. Like, what happened?
I got to see an echidna just recently, actually. It was pretty cool. They're funny little guys.
Oh, it's so cute.
Look at them.
What a cute little abomination.
Because you watch them eating from that weird bowl that's got like the little ridges and stuff, and the tongue just like navigates around like a maze. It's impressive.
Yeah, I've definitely seen like just a regular old anteater eat out of something like that, and I was like, oh, neat.
I think, as far as our discussion, I think we're at a good point where we can... I'm reminded of our Shadow discussion where we talked about like kind of what the future looks like for Knuckles in our own speculation. I know that we kind of joked that like Shadow would basically become Cream's mentor and teach her how to shoot guns. So,
God, I hope that's my dream. Teach her how to say fuck.
But so what do we think about Knuckles' future at this point?
I'm interested to see if they build on the stuff from the end of Frontiers where, Knuckles finally, gets off the island, goes to see the world. I think that there's a lot of interesting things they can do with that. I'm interested, like, now that they've established that, hey, the comics are past the point of no frontiers, we might see some of that in, a future arc or something. But I don't know. I think that more than anything, I would like to see them do more stuff with, Knuckles in his past and, looking into his race and everything. Because I feel like it's been a while since they've done that in any official media, and I think that we're about due.
It is interesting because, like we were saying on our Shadow discussion, this is a character whose backstory is baked in there right from the beginning.
Right.
It's a big part of who they are, is like, to the point that it makes it hard to make them move forward because they've got the baggage. Like Shadow has all of his baggage with Maria. Knuckles has got the Master Emerald. That's basically the same thing.
Really?
They mean a lot to them. They've died once. They both begin with M. You know, it just doesn't. They've both got shattered.
Connected?
Yeah, reconnected in a way. They came back together and then they vanished again. The thing about Knuckles, or a cat, you know, like the cat that gets exploded and has to be recovered. But Knuckles himself, like, yeah, they need to commit to the frontier stuff if they want him to actually move forward, because otherwise he's either going to be stuck on the island or he's just going to be wandering around doing nothing. There's a good happy medium to be had there. Maybe it is just a case of, like Luke was saying, maybe he needs to go out in the world and look for things related to echidna stuff. Or maybe he just puts on his adventuring hat, because he needs to wear that, apparently.
Yes.
And goes out and does some treasure hunting stuff.
Joke. This fucking guy steals my damn joke. I was literally going to say they're going to put out a new game or new movie or something featuring Knuckles, and they'll literally call it Knuckles Gets His Hat Back. And he's going to go treasure hunting, and maybe Rouge will be there. I don't know. And then it'll be like, look, Knuckles can do... And then maybe it'll also reconnect him to his past, and we can bring that back in. Be pretty sick, I'm just saying.
Knuckles can go fishing with Big.
Knuckles should have an actual canon video game where he meets Wade Whipple.
Yes!
the video game version of Wade Whipple.
Well, you know what?
Because he's so important to the story of Knuckles the Echidna.
I mean, Shadow Generations had the movie DLC where Shadow crossed into another dimension and became Keanu Reeves, so it could happen.
I'm just thinking about, like, maybe the explanation for why Knuckles is able to go out into the world is because, like, he's saying, don't worry, the Master Emerald is being watched, I've got someone on it. And every so often he'll get, like, a call from, like, and it's Adam Pally, and then, like, Knuckles, you won't believe it! The Master Emerald! It's moving! Are you sure? Are you sure about that, Wade? I don't know. I just looked at it funny. I don't know, man. It's just fucking... And he just starts
I don't know why, even though we're talking about the movies, I suddenly imagined Cream. He, like, leaves Cream to watch it, and she, like, calls and is like, Mr. Knuckles, does the emerald go hiding sometimes?
It's supposed to be invisible.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not very good at hide and seek. You know that. And he's like, what are you talking about? Where's the emerald? And she's like, well, I don't know. I haven't won yet. You just, like, you hear distant Cream going like, Ollie, Ollie, oxen free.
Aw.
Well, Miss Rouge was here earlier.
Yeah, Miss Rouge came and said hi, and then I said hi, and then she left, and then the emerald left.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh.
The emerald went for a walk, I see.
That is always going to be the hard part with telling new Knuckles stories, is there's always going to be the thing of, like, okay, why is he off the island? And you need to reconcile
Who's watching
that.
it? Need someone come watch my dog.
Because I know that
You don't bite.
if the early 2000s is any indication, the fandom will never stop asking, but where's the Master Emerald? He needs to just, like, pull a Sonic Adventure 2 cutscene and just, you know, be able to literally fit it in the palm of his hand whenever he needs to.
Literally.
Butthole space.
It either needs to go somewhere with him or just he's got it figured out somehow. The Chow are watching it. It's fine. They can do it. Trust me.
I remember there was a Sonic Paradox project that never came off the ground, and I suggested Knuckles can participate in things by carrying around a big backpack with the Master Emerald just totally sticking out of it, like it's clearly about to fall out all the time.
He does carry it around in Sonic X like that a few times, just above his head.
I could see
man.
if we wanted to get Knuckles off the island but keep the Master Emerald safe, I could see him talking to Tails to, like, set up some sort of defense system to make sure it, you know, stays where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Or
And,
just a story where it is becomes unsafe. So he's like, I got to move it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
One way or another, he's like, you know, it's being targeted here. I need to take it away. You know, some shit like that.
I mean, I think there is potential for a really interesting story where Knuckles is somehow incapacitated and somebody else has to watch the Master Emerald for him.
Oh.
I agree. I still think it would be funny if it was Cream.
It should be Cream and Wade Whipple. They should both be there.
Oh my
Just
god!
imagine the hijinks.
To go all the way back to the beginning, you mentioned Knuckles and Blaze. I love that comic.
True.
That comic
I was thinking
story
about that.
where they kind of have, don't they even joke about maybe they should switch places and like, oh, Knuckles can go on vacation in Blaze's dimension and she'll stay and you know, watch the Master Emerald. I like
A
that.
co-parent.
Yeah, and I agree with everyone else saying that you know, anything in the future that deals with you know, Knuckles's the history of the Angel Island in addition to learning about Knuckles's past, I would just love to see anything with that. And again, I think the character and the story chops are there now for the franchise to do something like that.
I guess part of the problem is people taking Knuckles away from that, not knowing what to do with him. Again, I guess because, like we were saying, so much of Knuckles' character is baked right into the, you know, first 5 beats of like, all right, so he's the last of his kind. He guards the Emerald. He's stuck on this island. It's like, yeah, you have to pull some of that away. And then it's like, when you pull him away from the Emerald, away from the island, whatever, it's like, then they don't know what to do. So it's like, I think now at this point, maybe we have a better understanding of what we can do with Knuckles when he's not tied to those things. And as we were saying at the very beginning, maybe give him some more hobbies.
Yeah.
Give him some other things to do. And then I don't think we have to be scared of that either. I don't think he's going to become boring. And like, there's still ways to throw him back to, you know, like how I was saying, his strong sense of his values and everything is like, that can still come back. And he doesn't have to be staring right at the Emerald to be like, my family is very important to me.
I agree. I think so.
Yeah. My ancestors would like me to have hobbies.
My ancestors would like me to touch different kinds of grass.
My ancestors would like me to feel the touch of a woman. I guess if it's what my ancestors want.
They're like, no, not the bat one. You need to continue the race. What are you doing?
he's like
This
me
isn't
with the
Archie.
rouge, and all these like little ghostly figures come in like, no, not that one, no.
They're right on top of the Master Emerald, and Tikal is like, no.
Oh, I've seen that comic.
Oh my god.
This is what kills Chaos to break out of the Master Emerald again. He's sick of this.
Oh,
They've been doing it
man.
every night for the anyway.
I just saw that other panel there. I think it's, I can't remember if it's IDW Archie with, she's hugging the Master Emerald and yeah, Tikal is seeing the big boob print, but also the one where I think it's from IDW. It might be an issue I haven't read yet, but it's Shadow and Knuckles and then Rouge. And she says something like, oh, I just wanted to, if the world is going to end, I wanted to make sure to do it with my greatest love. And she plops right down on top of the Master Emerald. It's so funny.
And now finally we talk about who is Knuckles' greatest love interest. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
The Master
Okay.
Emerald.
Yeah, there it
this
is.
has been
Number 10.
established.
Yes.
I mean,
Grapes.
how often do they handle that in media?
They
There's Rouge
usually
and there's
just
Julie Sue, and that's basically it.
They
Yeah.
usually just play into Knuckles' shyness, like when he runs into the belly dancing tent in Sonic X. And I mean, with Rouge as well, he's super shy. Like, oh, I don't know how to handle these feelings, grown-up feelings.
Isn't that like part of Knuckles' bio? Is that he's kind of scared of women or something like that? His original
Yeah,
bio.
that does sound
Well,
Like
familiar.
the Japanese.
I think it's the naivete coming out that he's shy because it's like he's not used to this and doesn't know how to relate to women. But yeah, it comes out a lot of times with like in Sonic X. And I remember having a thought early on that I was like, I feel like I have to pay attention to Knuckles' interaction with women to see if that is a consistent thing. If it's like he's always kind of awkward. And it seems like women and children, he tends to be kind of awkward and just sort of shy. And it's like, okay. And I don't really ever see a time when he's...
He can't post the gif of Smithers in the strip club and say that's Knuckles.
That completely threw me off.
Oh no.
Anyway, I was
done.
gonna say, thankfully, there was no time in which I felt that Knuckles was inconsistent. It seems that he's awkward in that sense.
Yeah, I like
pretty much always.
I don't know if there's like a trope name for it, but I like that, especially in Sonic X, I think he has a lot of like, because he's naive and so, isolated, he has some like misplaced chivalry. Like in Sonic X especially, he is, and I think a little bit in SA2, he is like, oh, you're a bat girl? Well, I didn't mean to hit you because you're not supposed to hit girls and, I think that can be pretty cute.
I was thinking too, Knuckles is, let's say, an emotional character in the fact that he's easily angered, et cetera, but he never really knows how to deal with other people's emotions well. And again, probably has a perception of that women and children are very emotional. Because I remember too, I think it was in Frontiers that like the Chow is crying or whatever. And he kind of plays off this really awkward, like, there, don't cry. Like he doesn't know what to do. And I was like, yep, that's Knuckles, all right.
It's not like, it's like
I found his profile from Sonic Jam.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Weak point, girls. He's a shy guy.
See, I must have read that and then, well, anyway. It's what they call moe, everybody.
Yep.
They call it Mole A because he's a mole. He's a Harry Mogura, because that's why they keep calling him Mr. Mole in the OVA, apparently, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that literally means needle mole.
Right.
And as opposed to Harry Nesmi. So there you go. He's a mole.
All this just to say, if Rouge really wanted to, she could get a leash around that boy in like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Knuckles? I don't know.
Literally, he does not know. We briefly mentioned Rouge, and I started thinking about like Rouge and Knuckles' dynamic, and then I was like, oh man, I have to do like a whole character analysis on Rouge before I could truly tackle this. But then I was like, well, the whole dig with them, the whole deal is that, Rouge easily persuades people one way or another, and Knuckles is easily persuaded.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing they have going on. So yeah, literally, she could just be like, hey, put on this leash and collar, and he'd be like, what? All right.
Yeah. I think I'm definitely not against the Knuckles Rouge pairing, but I think from Rouge's perspective, it would be too easy. Like you said, she could get him to do whatever she wants, and he would be too boring for her. I think that's...
I literally had that thought.
Yeah. Now, again, I'm not against the pairing. I'm just thinking, like, what is cute about it is, they would never probably get together because, again, he's too committed to the Master Emerald. That would be too boring for Rouge to settle down with.
And, he's shy and whatever.
Rouge just wants to go do, like, really cool, like, she wants to go out there and have the finer things in life, and he wants to live in the dirt with his giant rock.
Yeah.
For real.
She loves that rock, but... she's going to live in her little fight club that she's got in Sonic Battle and rip people off the rest of her life.
Filet mignon and truffle sauce.
Yeah, I'm picturing like Rouge and Amy talking over coffee or something, and Amy's like Rouge is like lamenting about her lack of a love life. She's like, why don't you go out with Knuckles? And she's like, it's almost too easy, and I just feel like I'm using him. Because I am.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I am.
And then Amy's like, well, that's true. And she's like, I do. When you put it that way, I kind of feel bad for Knuckles.
Don't. He has no idea.
Rouge's plan is to like marry Knuckles and then divorce him so that she gets half of everything he owns, including half of the Master
Half the Master Emerald.
They kind of already are almost like they're divorced. I love that for them. I think that's beautiful.
They didn't even have to go through the messy marriage part. They just started divorced.
And see, and Rouge can just convince him, like, we've been divorced for years. And he's like, I guess I forgot.
We love a gaslighting queen.
I mean, they shared a play style in Sonic Adventure 2 that's basically the same as being married.
Yeah.
Sonic and Shadow.
Same thing. Yeah, literally same thing.
And the Master Emerald gets 2 Christmases.
And for the record, before anybody asks, that does not mean that Tails and Eggman are married. It means their mechs are.
I was not even going to touch it because I was like, is that too weird? I'll just forget about that one.
No, They
He's
play
Eggman
no, they
Tails, he
play
misses his wife.
they play differently in Sonic Adventure 2. If you walk around the Chow Garden, Tails
true.
can fly, Eggman can't.
That's why we
It's
haven't
true.
seen those specific mech walkers ever again, because they moved away to like Vermont to get married because it was the 2000s.
Romance is alive. I was gonna say this is Rouge is actually playing the long game to get the Master Emerald because she's playing into Knuckles' daddy issues by being like, see, we're divorced and now we've broken up the family, and so I have to take out the Master Emerald sometimes, so that we can feel together again. And Knuckles is like, yeah, that makes sense.
I don't have a dad, but I feel like really strongly about that. For some reason.
She plays with Knuckles' daddy issues by having him wait in a microwave while she steals the Master Emerald.
Oh yeah, isn't there a weird Archie issue where like is Rouge trying to fuck Knuckles' dad?
Based. So basically, the synopsis of this is Rouge is a based girl boss, gaslight, gatekeeping queen.
Exactly. I wouldn't want it any other
She
way.
shouldn't want to fuck with Knuckles' dad. He's the most divorced ass dad
Oh,
of them
man.
all, as we all know.
The only band he listens to is Creed.
I'm 6 feet
He's there on
from
top of the Master
edge, and
Emerald
I'm
saying,
thinking-
I'm 6 feet from the edge.
It is my creed to watch over the Master Emerald, as will my descendants.
This Scott Stapp speaks the truth.
My sacrifice.
Yeah, I was gonna say now every time Knuckles has like a premonition of his dad or whatever, he's like, with the arms wide open.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome.
Lashed to the Cenobite chains in hell, Locke.
I look forward to the AMVs being done within the next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, chop chop.
Guys, I think I like Knuckles. He's a cool guy. I mean,
I
I
always
didn't
like
dislike him
Knuckles.
before this episode, but Knuckles, I like Knuckles.
Always like
Knuckles is a cool guy who don't afraid of anything.
Yeah.
except for booze.
And women.
Ghost?
Oh, booze the ghosts, right. Except for alcohol. Hard
Yes,
alcohol.
Knuckles is a strict
hard liquor.
teetotaler.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
like,
I think Knuckles
interesting.
is straight edge. Knuckles is definitely straight
He's never
edge.
encountered. I don't think there is any booze on Angel Island, or if there is. Wait a minute. Wait till they tell him that wine is made out of grapes.
I
and
was
maybe
about to
that'll
say.
Yeah, here's the thing. Knuckles has definitely gotten drunk off of some of the stuff he's found just foraging around Angel Island.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
found out that it's alcohol.
It sits for long enough,
Knuckles,
They made-
yeah. I like that
They-
Knuckles is straight edge, not for like any punk ideal, but just because he doesn't know what any of those substances are.
I almost wanted in the Knuckles show when he was, as I think I was saying this before we were recording, how I was like, I deeply relate to Knuckles as a non-Jewish person who really likes Jewish food.
Yeah.
And they made a joke about where he's like, "Where's the grapes?" And they're like, "Oh, it's only in the wine, buddy." And I'm like, "Oh, don't give," because I personally really love the like Jewish wine. I was like, "Don't give him that stuff. He's gonna get so sloshed." And then I was like, I almost wish they had done a bit where he's like, "This is great," and then it just cuts to him like passed out on the ground in a hole in the wall.
I think Knuckles' actual future is just to become a wine mom, and he gets a little bib for the Master Emerald that says, "Mommy's reason to drink." Which unfortunately
fierce.
exists. I've seen it, and I'm like, oh, that makes me sad.
Oh, yeah. That's one of
Yeah.
those, like, I appreciate the humor, but I don't think we should treat alcoholism with such a lighthearted touch. Movie Knuckles.
And Knuckles gets a bib that says "Mommy's reason to drink" and ties it around his own neck. There you go.
Interpret that how you wish.
Rouge the Bat.
Again, I'm going to be his therapist, and I'm going to not lobotomize him.
You're going to talk to him about his relationship with Rouge and be like, you know that's not what healthy love looks like, right?
And then he's like, "What does it look like?" And I'm like, "How much time do we have left?"
What's your insurance? Master Emerald.
And I
guess
look
that
at my
works.
calendar real quick. I'm like, "Do you have time for another session tomorrow?" All right, we can get into it.
Now Knuckles is cool.
Yep.
He was as soon as he showed up in Sonic. I think I talked about this just recently when we talked about the Sonic 3 adaptation in SDC. But the moment he showed up, I was like, "Oh shit, There can be other Sonics. They can be just as cool, but cooler because he's pointy and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Knuckles just immediately, like, he smashes you in the face, just like he smashes Sonic in the face when he shows up, and he's just like, yeah, this guy is cool, and he's got his own story going on. He can have that? All right. So, I don't know. I really love Knuckles. I really love his design. I really love his personality. I do feel like maybe he got to be a bit too much of a dummy sometimes, but I'm always going to enjoy him because there's just something about the little guy. And the fact that he got his own special game where you plug in other Sonic games on top and they get to be knuckleized. Well, that's not actually what happens to anything other than a couple games. But it should have been. I should have been able to have Knuckles in all my Mega Drive collection. Should have had a Knuckles in Shinobi.
Boogerman and Knuckles.
But with Knuckles.
I think I've told the story of absolutely believing if I plugged Aladdin for the Genesis, I'd be able to glide over the lava pits in the Cave of Wonders.
Holy crap. I'm thinking back to, because I'm sorry, I've always loved Knuckles. I know I keep joking about it, but like I discovered Sonic as a franchise and I was like, I love Knuckles and I love Amy, and that's how it's always been consistently my entire life. But also when I think back to like, well, why did I like Knuckles? It goes back to every other male character I've been obsessed with. It's just like, if you draw connections between him and like Joey Wheeler, it makes sense. That's where it all started. I'm not even kidding. That's where it all started. Joey Wheeler is my patient zero, and then you just draw the connection between the two, and it's like, yep, that makes sense, and then you can move on. So you can already from that glean what exactly attracted me to him, and it was a lot of the like the temper, the like hastiness, and the also like not being the main guy. He's kind of like a sidekick or rival depending on exactly where he's slated at that moment, and it worked for me. So, and a little bit naive, a little bit gullible. Again, Joey Wheeler, hello.
Yep.
I should let Martin know about your Joey Wheeler fascination, because that's...
No, please, no. I've had a shield around me, and like, just don't let him know. It's it's gonna put me in a bad place.
Open up
where
a new
it's just
Discord window.
The only difference is with Mika, it's Boston Rage, because that's where she's from.
Oh, shut up. Listen, no. And the fact that it goes so deep that my actual partner, my man that I've been with for 6 years, when we got together, he was like, but what do you think of my accent? And I was like, I love it. It says everything. And then I've had people, I remember having a conversation once that he was like, you know, when I was young, I didn't like Joey because people made fun of my accent. And he was like, when I was a teenager, my friends online would say stuff like Brooklyn Rage at me, and it made me so mad. And it was like, in that moment, I was like, he was like, what's the matter? And I was like, oh God, I just realized why I fell in love with you. I have to go. It was really bad. I'm afraid none of this is fiction. All of it's 100% true.
Well, I believe it.
And he was just like, yeah.
Unfortunately, a little bit accurate. Anyway, I knew going into the Knuckles episode, I'd end up spilling my heart out. It's fine.
Just like so many shards of the Master Emerald.
Yeah.
And cats.
And cat.
There you go. New Knuckles quest, picking up all the broken pieces of my heart.
Bing, bing, bing.
Weirdly, it still makes the cat noise every time you find it.
Well, instead of going meow, it's like meow.
Naturally, when Knuckles comes close.
Every time you get close, it goes. Yeah.
And Knuckles is like, this is really strange.
I mean, that's just Knuckles looking at me, to be frank. There's one person who can't agree to me being normal.
Eventually, no. One day, we'll get like all of the Knuckles voice actors at once to say, Mika is normal.
Yeah, and then all ascend to godlyhood.
I am normal. Knuckles said so.
My voice echoing and like rainbows and sparkles shooting off of me. I am normal, and I fly away.
The validation I've been seeking all along.
You needed validation from an echidna. That's all you needed in your life.
But don't we all?
The last thing about Knuckles that I want to mention, and I don't know if anybody else here as a child did this, but I always thought it was cool that he had spiked knuckles, and so I would like try to press down on the skin between my knuckles to make my knuckles bigger somehow.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like,
that's
I want to
so
be like
cute.
Knuckles.
I definitely did the thing where I'd put on mittens, like, without the fingers, and I'd be like, I'm Knuckles.
I always like to pretend being Knuckles, yeah.
I definitely did the thing where I put on mittens and then try to put like a little pointy thing or something underneath them so that
Oh,
they
yeah.
would stick
Oh,
out.
yeah.
But it never looked the way I wanted.
But in your mind, you were like, yeah.
Pretty sure now you can buy like official Knuckles mittens.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
as, like,
Oh,
for
yeah.
Halloween costumes and everything.
That's awesome.
I was at like a store or something a couple years ago, and they were like Knuckles gloves, and I put them on, and I was like, yeah, it's still pretty sick.
Isn't it kind of fucked up though that apparently they're not his Knuckles? They've at least on one of the what was it? Not the Tails tubes, but the Twitter takeovers. Knuckles described them as the spikes on his hands. I'm like, no,
That's
but your
sick.
Knuckles.
I mean,
Knuckles are on your hands.
Semantics, I guess.
I guess. I mean, here I'm looking at the Sonic Jam profile. It says spiked Knuckles.
Knuckles are part of the hand. Your pinky's part of the hand.
true.
The palm is part of the hand. It's not like he said it was on his palms, then it'd be like, I'm very confused about your anatomy now.
Well, there's a lot to be confused about when it comes to Knuckles the Echidna's anatomy. So
Palms the echidna.
Archie didn't last long
you
enough for
choose.
them to give him another sibling named that.
Yeah.
Yep, just kneecaps.
We never did talk about kneecaps.
Yeah. Thank you, John
Sure,
Gray.
it's cold in here.
Oh yeah. Nipples the enchilada.
In conclusion, Knuckles the Echidna is a land of contrasts.
Knuckles the Echidna punch good,
He's the red guy.
except for when he's pink.
Except for when he's
we don't have time to get into
That's true.
fucking you could no
Yeah, we
do
really
not
didn't.
have time. We do not have fucking time.
I'm
let's
surprised
talk
we
about
didn't
his
talk about
super transformation where he turned pink. Yeah.
This is the only time I will not tolerate this pink Knuckles revisionism.
That's what Sonic the Comic the podcast is for.
They can be wrong on their own time.
This has been a very fun episode. I always enjoy these like deep dives into the characters, and I'm glad we got so much out of Knuckles because I feel like there's so much more available for him. So yeah, we
agree.
rooted through that.
Yeah, we really
Yay.
dug deep into Knuckles the Echidna. And, yes.
Rocky, etc.
But yeah, that about wraps it up. You can follow The Hill is Always Greener at Sonic F on the different socials. You can find me on the socials as Rock the Jake or on Twitch as Mr. Rock the Jake.
You can find me in all sorts of places at Cyberlink420.
And you can find me on Blue Sky at jeremybaker.actor and around the rest of the internet as Game Buddy, sometimes with a 123.
And you can find me all across the internet except for the bad social media sites. You know the ones. At Valero. That's FAULERRO.
Love that jingle.
You can find me on Blue Sky and Twitch and probably somewhere else I can't think of right now at Prismaeya, Prismaeya. Yes, I had to think about how to spell my own name. Because I've definitely misspelled it when speaking out loud before.
Special thanks, as always, to Amy Waters for the use of our theme song from the album Gotta Go Slow. You can check out more of her work on YouTube and Bandcamp, and you can also find her on the socials at Amy Waters. And if it's a Bandcamp Friday, please purchase all of her music. If you've done it, do it again, because she deserves all the good stuff. Please remember to subscribe and review and share the podcast in this episode. As for our next episode, we are going to be celebrating our 100th episode of The Hill is Always Greener. Can you believe we made it this far?
I assumed we'd all be dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So far, so good. But
Yay.
we're just going to tease that it's going to be something legitimately very, very special. And I know that we're all looking forward to it, and you should definitely look forward to it too. Yay, 100.
Yay!
And don't worry, we actually have something planned for it. This isn't us being like, oh, shit, what do we do? We do have something planned, and it's going to be big and cool, so get ready for that one.
But thank you, as always, so much for listening and for engaging and just for being wonderful people who listen to a bunch of nerdy people talk about an echidna. And usually, most of the time, a blue hedgehog. I have been Rock the Jake.
I'm Cyberlink.
I'm Game Buddy.
I'm Valero.
I'm Prismaeya Cool Streamer. You leave my grapes out of this.
Perfect.
Excellent.
This has been The Hill is Always Greener, and we will see you on the other side.
Woo!
Woo!
Wahoo!
And Knuckles.
And Knuckles.
Gonna hook it up with my 4-penis head Knuckles mod.
No! No! I was wondering how far we would make it through this without mentioning that.
You
Knuckles
can't
got
not.
that forehead and his foreheads.
I was looking down at my hands earlier, like, I'm not going to be the person who brings it up.
If my wife were on the podcast, she would bring it up immediately
5 seconds in.
to torture me.
It's canon, I assume.
And it shoots like a cannon.
Oh no.
Lord.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I gotta
Give
go.
it your best shot.
I've had
Well,
enough.
anyway.
Oh, man.